So I went golfing last Saturday, and I was telling Kathy about the story, and she's like, I see that you left your ring at home. And she was like giving me shit about it. Because I don't like to do any sport activity with the ring on.
Yeah.
And I'm left-handed, so it kind of... And
oh shit, that's right. I always forget you're left-handed.
Yeah. So she's giving me a lot of shit for it, and I was like, I don't understand like why you're upset about this. And she goes, well, I'm just jazzing your nutsack. And I'm like, what? What? And she's like, that's the expression, isn't it? Jazzing your nutsack? And I was like, what expression are you talking about? And she goes, oh, breaking your balls. Yeah. So it's just jazzing your nutsack now. Like, that's what we use.
That sounds like the process of milking a horse. Like, that's what like the horse people call it, is jazzing your nutsack. They're like, oh, we got to go milk the horse.
That's like a centaur saying.
A centaur? A centaur masturbating?
Yeah, it's like, or just like, I picture a centaur like hooking up with a human prostitute.
Jesus.
And the two centaurs are talking, and they're like, oh, are you gonna go get your nutsack jazzed? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get my nutsack jazzed. And that's like the saying for visiting a hooker when you're a centaur.
Wicked smart, wicked cool, wicked fucking stupid, whatever the fuck. Something wicked.
I'm baking like a Georgia teaser. It's so hot here.
My boy's wicked smart.
Cause the boy is hotter than hot. He's hot.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
So how was the week treating you, man?
The week was a bitch of a week.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing this, because I don't even know what episode we're on at this point. I think we've really gotten to.
I think this is 15. No, we're like way past that. We're on like 18, 19.
Yeah, 18. This will be 18. Wow, that's pretty good. 18 consecutive weeks. Pat us on the back for that.
It's been tough.
It has.
Some weeks have been tough, especially the week that I didn't record the fucking podcast and we had to redo it.
That was pretty awful. But yeah, guys. So as always, every week we post on the Instagram on Wednesdays. Kevin, what do we post? Who got it? Who didn't get it?
So we posted a picture of the 2016 World Champion Chicago Cubs.
Yes.
And I specifically said in the title, we are not doing sports. Like, we're not talking sports. So that was like a big hint right there.
Okay.
So the one of the answers we got on Twitter was sausage parties? Question mark.
I like that.
That was a good one, yeah. Because the picture is like a hot dog pile of Cubs players.
Oh, I thought it was like a hot dog pile. I'm like, wait a minute. Am I remembering the picture correctly? I thought it was the Cubs.
And then on the Instagram, somebody guessed top sports movies, which was wrong. And somebody guessed Henry Rowengartner from The Rookie. No. The Rookie of the Year, yeah.
Okay, so the Instagram, I guess no one got it.
No one got it.
It's not Rookie of the Year, and it's not sausage parties or sport movies. What we're doing is who predicted it wrong. And by that we mean movies from obviously before our time, or I guess even our time counts as well. Because there are some things that did predict it already, and then there are some things that haven't been didn't come to fruition at all. So yeah, this is not like what if for things that we don't know have happened yet. It's just more of like it happened or didn't happen, and these are the movies that either predicted or didn't predict the future. Yeah, so picking up where we left off, actually the picture that you posted is pretty accurate to what my future was not correct. It did not predict it. And I'm talking about Back to the Future Part 2. I know there's a lot of things that Back to the Future 2 got wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, specifically, I'm thinking about the fact that we'd be wearing 2 neckties in the future. I don't know if you remember that, but Marty McFly wears 2 tied neckties with a collar that is extra long to fit the 2 neckties, which is bananas.
That's just one thing that they were on set and they're like, what is a futuristic thing? And somebody's like walking by with a row of neckties on their arm. And the director's like, get me another necktie. That's what we're missing.
Yeah. I feel like another necktie definitely spells out future for sure.
It's definitely way more fancy than one tie.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't just stick with the one tie. But anyway, yeah. So the one thing that I'm focusing on that they did not predict is the Cubs winning the World Series in 2015.
God damn, they were so close.
Yeah, so in 2015, the Cubs actually didn't even make it to the World Series. They got destroyed by, now we know, is the Mets. They were swept.
Yeah.
But you guys don't give a fuck about the sports shit, so I'll just get back to the movie stuff. The funny thing is, in the movie, the Cubs beat the Miami Marlins.
Yeah.
Which weren't even a thing. Which is great. Like, the Marlins organization was a thing, but I'm pretty sure they were the Florida Marlins.
They were the Florida Marlins, and they're both National
point.
League teams at
exactly,
that point.
Which makes no sense.
So they would have had to have guessed 2 parts. One of them switches to the American League, and one of them, or the Cubs win the World Series, which is neither.
Which if that happened, that'd be
if the Marlins
ridiculous.
Went to the AL in 2015, I would have given it to them. Yeah, even if the Cubs didn't make the World Series, I would have given it to them. But damn, that's a stretch.
It is a stretch. But I mean, it's crazy because I remember when they were going to, like, they were in the playoffs in 2015, they were selling the Back to the Future 2 hats that Marty McFly wears. Like those weird, like, colored hats. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's just like a very strange hat. But yeah, so aside from the fact that the Cubs didn't win, I mean, Back to the Future 2 got so many other things wrong, but
actually, you know what?
What?
Back to the Future 2 came out in 1989. The Marlins weren't even around until 1994.
Get the fuck out.
I am dead serious.
Are you fucking serious?
They predicted an expansion franchise 5 years before it was ever a thing.
That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, because Miami and Marlin, I mean, it sounds synonymous now because they're actually a team, but
right.
I would have thought like the Miami Flamingos or some other dumb shit.
Yeah, the fact that they got Marlins right. They must have known something by then.
Oh, there must have been some talk in like the nautical.
Yeah. Well,
themes.
you know, like I know I'm familiar with the Diamondbacks coming out in 98. And before that, you were hearing about the Diamondbacks in like 96, 95.
Yeah.
So maybe there were rumblings about it.
But like 5 years and like, oh wait, no, it wasn't 5 years. Wait, when did you say 90 what?
89.
Oh, it came out in 89?
The movie came out in 89 and then
the team came out in 95, you said?
The team came out in 93.
Oh, okay.
So 4 years.
So 4 years, but I don't know. And that's like 4 years when the movie was released, which means filming started probably about like a year before that.
Right. That's true.
So really, it is 5 years, and Robert Zemeckis has an in with
somebody in Major League Baseball in 1990 or 1988. At this point.
So that's pretty crazy. But yeah, Cubs lost. They got destroyed, actually, which was hilarious. And then they did not win. They won the next year, but Back to the Future got it 100% wrong.
The fact that they won the next year is a little bit of a redemption. It's not like they're just off by 1 year. Still predicting the future. And from what I know from that whole Cubs winning the World Series and Back to the Future, they were making fun of the fact that the Cubs hadn't made the World Series since like 1945 or 42 or something.
Right. Because even at this point, the Red Sox had made it to the World Series in '84 when the Mets won. So,
right.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm definitely glad that they did not win, but
you're not a Cubs fan?
I am not a Cubs fan at all. I think they're Even though people say it's St. Louis's, I honestly feel like the Cubs have the attitude of Yankees fans, but in Midwest fashion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a Cubs fan. Fuck the Cubs. But I'm a National League guy, so
I know our friends at Sensible People will be very upset to hear this. We might start a war because I know they're from Chicago. So
fuck the Cubs.
Yeah, fuck the Cubs. Honestly,
Hey, the Diamondbacks and the Red Sox are doing very well this year.
they are doing very well, although they did drop behind the Yankees. So
The Yankees are fucking killing it. Not to get off
I
on a
know.
fucking wicked hot take.
Sports. Yeah, they are killing it. They are, and it really pisses me off. I was thinking of this transition. And I don't know why, but when I thought Chicago, like I immediately, in a weird way, bacon metered it to Philadelphia, which makes no sense. I don't know why I did that. And then from Philadelphia, I went to Sylvester Stallone and Rocky. And funny enough, your next movie is a Sylvester Stallone movie.
It is a Sylvester Stallone movie. So this is something that is... I'm not expecting a movie like Demolition Man to get anything right about the future. But I just wanted to talk about this because not only is it so crazy, it's very, very wrong. And so we're not quite there yet to where the movie takes place. So the movie takes place in 2032.
Okay.
So we're getting close. We're coming up on it. And the movie is actually from 1999. So
Okay.
after Sylvester Stallone is unfrozen, he's like learning the ropes of the future, I guess. So at one point he's invited to dinner at Taco Bell. And Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock are in the car, and he's like, "What is with this guy? He invites me to dinner at Taco Bell." And Sandra Bullock goes, "Well, Taco Bell's the only restaurant that exists anymore after the franchise wars."
The franchise wars.
So I would have loved to have seen a movie about the franchise wars.
Yeah, that sounds way more interesting.
It sounds like Terminator with Ronald McDonald.
But that, yeah, but that's weird because like you can't have like not everyone's a franchise, you know?
Sure, yeah, that's
Like,
what I'm wondering. Is
Are
like,
there non-combatants? Were they just thrown on one side or the other?
I guess it's like Captain America: Civil War. It's like they
Maybe.
got to pick a side.
They have to. Maybe, and this is what I'm thinking. Maybe before the franchise wars, there was like a restaurant civil war for like every restaurant, and then it just happens to be like because the big corporate restaurants like Taco Bell and KFC, and although that's a combo, ooh, deadly combo.
Yeah,
Deadly for your bowels, deadly in the war,
deadly for your life.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just all out restaurant war, and then all the big time names just came in and swept in and killed everybody.
I just want to see the scene where like the McDonald's people are wearing like their uniform all tore up and shit, and they're wearing like the McDonald's visor, and they're just carrying like fucking Uzis and shit, and just like that's the movie that I want. I don't want Demolition Man.
No, I want franchise wars. Goddamn, that sounds like a show on A&E.
It does. Franchise wars. A&E show, new franchise wars. So
Oh boy, yeah. So Demolition Man.
After he figures out that the Taco Bell is the only restaurant, they pull up to it, and you're thinking like they're gonna pull up to the drive-through. No, this is a fine dining Taco Bell.
Yes, I do remember this.
They pull up, and everybody's in tuxedos, which is hilarious to think about. And there's valet. They valet the car. They go inside. There's classical music playing. There's a guy playing a piano. And they sit down. It's just like tapas food. It's just like tiny little crackers with like a bean on top. And then like another one with a black bean on top, and another one with like a piece of onion or a piece of tomato on top. It's like, that's what Taco Bell has become.
Interesting. See, I think it would have been more interesting if they were just serving them in like Taco Bell wrappers, and it's clearly just Taco Bell masked with this fancy atmosphere.
Yeah. I was hoping.
I will say they're not far off with that prediction.
That's true. There are
I'm going to
fancier.
combat. I'm gonna combat you with that. But you were gonna say something, so I'll combat you afterwards.
So I was hoping that they would walk in, even though it was a fancy establishment. Now they would walk in and get like the wrapper, like a taco in the wrapper, and then just eat it at the fucking steel stools that they have,
like on China. Start with the wrapper on China. Oh, it would be better if there was like a family style version where they just take literally a brown bag of Taco Bell in the middle of the table.
You have to grab what you want.
Yeah. So I'm going to combat you with this because I do think technically they're not far off from the future, because I know at least for McDonald's, there are several different style McDonald's. There's the diner looking McDonald's.
Right.
There's there's actually a fancy McDonald's in Orlando, Florida that looks fancy. And I think they serve like more upscale food, but it's still McDonald's.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gimmicky McDonald's locations now.
I know I'm 100% sure. There is a fine dining Taco Bell in Vegas that's like a club / Taco Bell, which is crazy. Like, who wants to go to a Taco Bell? Like, if you just think about that, like, if you're going to go out and pick up girls or something, what's the one thing that you don't want to eat before you're about to try and fuck some chick? Taco Bell.
But maybe the Taco Bell club is like, you know how Taco Bell just kind of adopted and basically embraced the fact that they were drunk people food.
Yeah.
And they always show in commercials like people after a long night of drinking, even though they look sober as fuck, they're eating Taco Bell in like their limos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how it works. That's definitely not how it is.
No.
It's everyone is just fucking trashed.
Yeah, you're eating Taco Bell before you throw up and go to bed for the night.
Yeah, it's not a stay down in your stomach meal.
Yeah.
No, by the way, I do have a soft spot for Taco Bell. I think it's kind of delicious.
Yeah, I had Taco Bell like a week ago. I'm not mad at Taco Bell.
Yeah, Taco Bell's good.
I wonder how much they had to pay to have. I wonder if the movie like went to McDonald's and they were like, no, they went to Burger King, no, and then Taco Bell was like, yeah, we'll pay to be featured in your movie.
Or there was franchise wars, and they had to go to each one, and then whoever was the highest bidder was the one who won in the movie.
That's true. That's what they're talking about when they say franchise wars. Like whoever paid the most money. And everyone else is like, oh my God, there's this epic battle. It's like, no, they just paid the most money to be in it.
If you think about it, it seems like this is one of those 90 movies that loves commercialization. It was like fucking capitalism at its finest, where it just became like a giant ad for different companies.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely in line. 99 with a bunch of cool looking superhero guys, and then Taco Bell. That's a fucking.
It's funny you say that, the capitalism thing, because in the UK version of the movie, Taco Bell doesn't exist in the UK at this point. They changed it to Pizza Hut, which is also owned by Taco Bell.
Interesting.
So definitely the company that owns those two won the franchise war.
Yeah, the franchise
with the studio.
Yes, the taco brands is quite expansive. All right, cool. Yeah. So my final thoughts on Demolition Man. I don't think yours is 100% wrong, but that's me.
It's definitely not, because we haven't got there yet. But it's also some shit has to happen for this to really end up like that.
Listen, how far away are we from 2032?
Like 15 years.
Okay, so basically, there needs to be a franchise war.
Resource war.
Although maybe the franchise wars happen after the resource wars. It's too many wars. It's funny because after all those wars, we're gonna get that one guy that's just like, let's go save the world, and that guy's gonna be Will Smith,
of course.
And Will Smith is in my next movie, and I picked I Am Legend, but instead of them getting the future wrong, I'm gonna say they got the future right. And no, I'm not talking about people get cured with cancer and then they become a fucking vampire. I'm talking about the fact that we get a glimpse of Batman v Superman. If only we knew it was going to suck. But I guess we should have known this because I'm Legend is not a good movie.
Yeah. So if you, I do remember seeing the logo. The logo in the movie
It's different.
I Am Legend looks better than the logo for actual Batman v Superman.
I agree because Batman v Superman just looks like a black logo with nothing distinguishable on it.
Yeah, the bat is too big on the
bat is
on
too-
the bat
it's like-
logo.
Yeah, it's very wide.
That's why I like the Nolan logo. It's a very minimalistic, sharp edges. I'm a sharp edges kind of guy when I look at a
I know.
logo.
Yeah. So I'm Legend. They predicted Batman v Superman happening. I remember when this thing came out and I saw that. Every kid, every guy, every fan of DC was just like, oh shit, is this like a Easter egg? Like this is going to happen? Because I'm pretty sure I'm Legend is Warner Brothers.
I'm pretty sure it is, yes.
So that's we were all pretty much like, oh fuck, this is going to be sick as hell. I can't wait for that Batman Superman team up movie
Yeah.
that we didn't get until like fucking 15 years later.
And it was awful. It sucked.
Yeah, it was terrible. Which is interestingly enough our first episode ever in the Wicked Hot Vaults.
Yeah. So I Am Legend came out in 2007. So that would have been
Oh, okay.
Christian
10 years
Bale.
later. 9 years.
Christian Bale and was the Henry Cavill one out yet?
No. Henry Cavill
So
came
it
out
would have
in
been Brandon
2013.
Routh.
Ooh,
Ugh.
not a good team up.
Unless they were recasting it. But yeah,
Imagine a Brandon Routh in a Nolan trilogy movie.
God. I didn't hate that movie, Superman Returns, but I'm
I'm going to tell you why you didn't hate it. Because Kevin Spacey was a fucking baller.
I think
as
that's
Lex
why.
Luthor. Yeah, I loved him as Lex Luthor.
I think that's why. But I think they could have made it darker if Brandon Routh was in. Christopher Nolan can make anything better.
Oh, 100%.
So Brandon Routh may have been able to pull off Superman. I didn't
Maybe.
actually see this when I first watched the movie. I didn't see it until like the third time I watched the movie.
You never noticed it?
No, I never noticed it. I'm not the type
Oh.
of person that like really looks at the background of stuff. I'm always trying to figure out how they're shooting something or like what rig they're fucking using, and it's like
Yeah.
it gets in my head to where I don't focus on
Jesus.
anything
How
else.
do you enjoy movies, God?
It's very hard to. That's why I don't go to the movies very often.
I will say, I just want to touch on some of the inaccuracies because there's like all of them in this movie. And well, one thing that always, and I think this might honestly be true as well, is the fact that Will Smith talks to mannequins.
Yeah, like do you think
Like-
he walks
like
around
the-
his
like-
mansion in real
No,
life?
like I think they, so if people don't remember in I Am Legend, because I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. So he doesn't actually like go crazy, even though he technically already is. He dresses mannequins up and puts them in like stores and makes it look like there's people walking around.
Yeah, and he's friends with some
customers.
of them he hates.
One of them he's trying to like hook up with, which is weird.
Yeah,
The video store, one of the girls at the video store.
yeah,
But yeah, so he like probably talks to mannequins, and I think they predicted the future because I think this is before we know how crazy Will Smith is. Now we know how crazy Will Smith is, for sure.
He's a
And,
Scientologist, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure he is. I mean, I wouldn't doubt he's not, but yeah, no, it's totally plausible for Will Smith to talk to mannequins.
Yeah,
And they predicted that correctly. So, but like as far as other things they didn't predict correctly, cure for cancer, the fact that the Serengeti grows in Times Square and then there's lions. I mean, I get there's a Central Park Zoo, but the fact that Times Square becomes like a wheat field or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck. Sahara,
there's like
I don't
different
know what it-
climates inside of New York City. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And then you have the vampire zombie people, which again, I'm just confused. But yeah, that's I Am Legend. I mean, the Batman v Superman is the biggest thing that stuck out to me, but also the biggest disappointment.
Definitely. And I know that like the third time I saw that, I didn't know about that little Easter egg thing. And I legitimately thought that, oh shit, they're making a Batman v Superman movie. Turns out it was just a cock tease.
Yeah, I don't know why. Did they ever say why they did that?
I don't think so. No, I don't think they did.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of 90s stars in this episode. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
I have Will Smith, and your next guy is probably like the biggest comedian in the 90s.
He is, yeah. My next one is The Cable Guy. And this isn't necessarily a movie where you think it like predicts the future, or it's not like it doesn't come to mind. Like you think of 2001: A Space Odyssey, you think of Back to the Future, but this eerily predicts something that has already happened. And I'm just going to play the clip for you at the end, and we can kind of break it down.
Okay.
The future is now! Soon every American home will integrate their television, phone, and computer! You'll be able to visit the Louvre on one channel, or watch female mud wrestling on another. You can do your shopping at home, or play Mortal Kombat with your friend in Vietnam.
Yeah, so that's like...
Fuck.
Yeah, this is from
Fuck.
1996. And all of this shit has come true.
Yeah.
It's
Literally
crazy. So he talks about basically having TV on your phone, which is like I watch baseball games on my phone every fucking day.
Right.
He talks about your computer being integrated with your phone.
Everything being integrated.
Yeah, and he talks about the biggest thing for me was that was always going that way, but the fact that he says you could play Mortal Kombat with your friend in Vietnam, like online gaming, what didn't even exist back then. The fact that
Not even on the PC?
no, not in that capacity. Like you can play LAN, but you couldn't play like over the internet.
Oh, fuck.
So the fact that he says like you can play Mortal Kombat with your friend in Vietnam is like such a crazy prediction at the time, because it's like it doesn't make sense. Like how would you have that technology? But it's like today, you jump on any game right now, you can play with people in China, Vietnam,
Yeah.
like it's crazy the amount of prediction in this scene, and every piece of it is true now.
Yeah, that is really creepy that happened. Because of the Cable Guy, that's definitely not a movie. Oh, let me ask you this: Who was the screenwriter? Steve Jobs?
No, it was not Steve Jobs.
Okay, because it could have been like crazy ramblings of Steve Jobs.
And he's
where
like,
it's
they're gonna call it an iPhone, and it's gonna be the biggest phone in the world. And
yeah, no, that's insane. I mean,
yeah, it's a great
all
prediction.
that shit we do.
And the movie doesn't predict like anything else. There's no other like foreshadowing future facts or anything. It's just like, oh, here's this one thing we're predicting, and it's 100% accurate.
Yeah, no, they must have had. Again, I'm almost like convinced that these people have ins with different
Time travelers.
Well, yeah. You mean Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yes.
It's probably Daniel Day-Lewis going back in time. He's
Yeah.
like, not only am I going to be the best actor ever, but I'm going to influence other movies to be created, which is a total Daniel Day-Lewis move.
Yeah, I could see him just like going back in time with like an iPhone right now, just like handing it to the screenwriter and like going back. And he's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? But then you got to worry about the network. It wouldn't work. The logistics of that is terrible.
No, yeah, I know. Everyone's like, oh, I'll just bring my phone. I'm like, because there's cell towers.
Yeah. Where are you
Or
going to get
internet.
service, dipshit?
I would download the whole internet into offline mode. So yeah, my next one here, there's like no good transition, so I'm just gonna get into it. It's Blade Runner, and I will say before I get into and I have it that they predicted the future wrong. No surprise. I just want to give an honorable mention to them because they actually did predict something correctly, which was the fact that digital billboards, which I thought that was a thing in the 80s. I guess I don't know. I think
thought it was
digital
too.
billboards. I thought digital billboards aren't like that new, but yeah, they did predict that, so they're not wrong about that.
They didn't have them in New York City at the time? Maybe
know.
not. Maybe they have the Like
Maybe I'm just
billboards.
thinking of like lights around the billboards rather than like an actual digital billboard. Maybe that's what I'm thinking,
Yeah,
but I could be
maybe.
wrong. But yeah, so aside from that though, Blade Runner is basically wrong about everything. I mean, I'm going to put replicants aside, although they do have sex dolls that are eerily looking very much like humans nowadays. But yeah, I think replicants are a little too far-fetched. But like I'm not even going to count that. But we have normal future stuff that people predict, like flying cars, off-world colonies.
Flying Carls.
Yeah, a bunch of flying cats. That's Kevin's cat. But yeah, there's flying cars, off-world colonies, mega cities that look like the worst places to live. I don't know why it
Yeah.
would ever become a thing. But yeah, all that stuff, obviously not a thing.
When did the movie? Do you know when the movie took place?
It is 2019. So
so
We're
it
only-
could still happen.
we could somehow find an ancient Martian artifact that propels our people 400 years in the future. Yes, it's possible.
And also creates like crippling poverty too, apparently.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's still possible, I guess. But I guess we still have hope for 2049 because that's the next Blade Runner movie. And considering they depict the same kind of future, there's like no change really
Yeah.
from Blade Runner 1, which occurs in 2019, to 30 years later in 2049. So who knows? Maybe we can still have horrible places to live and like wicked amounts of pollution and shit. So if that's what you're looking forward to, then
Yeah,
you
I'm
know, good for
hoping
you.
that comes true.
Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on
The
like,
billboards
that
and like
shit?
yeah, like
Yeah,
it's understandable that they got that wrong, like the flying cars and crippling poverty. But the billboards is like subtly something that they easily could have got right, and they fucking nailed it too.
but the funny thing is, I don't even think they meant for that to be like a legit prediction.
No, they
They're
didn't.
just like, oh yeah, we'll just put like TVs on the buildings. And,
Right.
But that'll never happen in the future. But Ridley Scott's like, flying cars will for sure be a thing. And
yeah,
that was like the one thing he was like, no, that's fucking stupid. That wouldn't happen. Is the thing that happens.
yeah. I think it was like I want to say it was Back to the Future, where in a random scene in the future, there's like a widescreen TV. And it's just like in passing, and now that's like, and it was like the perfect dimension, like 16:9.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and at the time, obviously nobody was using widescreen TVs.
I thought you were going to say the fact that people ride exercise bikes in cafes,
No,
because that's totally true. Yeah, you know what Blade Runner.
I think the digital
Maybe that-
billboards is, I see those everywhere now. And when I went back to watch some of, I think when you told me you were doing Blade Runner, I went back and watched some of the scenes, and I did actually notice the digital billboards, and they're not too far off from what we have today. Like they look pretty much just like what we have. So
Yeah, and specifically like the ones that like are on the buildings, like you can see that shit in like China and stuff.
oh
Like,
yeah,
they have those.
yeah,
So yeah, like the ones that just cover like an entire fucking building, like those exist too. Like I'm not
Yeah.
even just talking about like the ones on the side of the road that transition. You know, that's like a TV that like transitions to the next
right,
ad.
right.
Although I wish the ads were not in like Japanese. It's like Dr. Feinstein and his like you know like the dentist or something, and it transitions to like, you know, fucking I don't know, random shit. Yeah, so Blade Runner turns out I'm glad it's wrong because it just looks like a really shitty future. Your next one also looks like a really shitty future that I don't ever want to be a part of.
Yeah, so we got the slums and poverty in Blade Runner. In Children of Men, we have nothing, no hope, except at the end. So, Children of Men is actually, so it's a 2006 movie, but it's actually a 1992 novel. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
So the prediction actually goes like way back to 1992, and that's kind of what I'm going off of. So in 2008, men basically become infertile, and the population stops growing in 2008. And the movie takes place in 2027. So at that point, there's no people being born. I think the oldest or the youngest person is like 19 or 20 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
And that is a bold prediction. So like in 1992 to 2008, like that's not very far to predict something that ridiculous
From happening.
right. So the fact that it happens in the movie, or supposedly happens in 2008, kind of ruins the movie for me, even though Children of Men is like one of my top favorite movies. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But it like really hampers the plot of the movie, that it's like basically already have taken place, and
Right.
there's like no reality to it at all.
No, not at all. I mean, technically, it could have. It still could happen.
It still could happen because we're not there yet. It would have to
Yeah.
happen way quicker than it did in the book.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. Or it could happen within whenever, like the year gap, like the 16 years from 90. You said 92.
92, yeah.
Yeah, to 2008 is when it starts.
The
Yeah.
book, the book takes place in 2008, or that's when they start becoming infertile, and the book takes place in 2027.
Right. So I'm saying like from 2008, 16 years. That's going to be
Right.
what's it called? That's going to be 2024.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be 2024. So technically, men still have. I know I'm like combating you on like everything. men can still be infertile in 6 years. We have 6 years to go.
That is true. And
It's kind of like
possible-
Judgment Day, how it's postponed. Like it's never actually stopped.
Yeah.
Like we basically like Terminator 2'd that shit to get us to Terminator 3 now. So that's not good because Terminator 3 is terrible.
Yeah.
And that's in 6 years. That's what we have to look forward to. I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, there will be less people, and that's always a good thing because I fucking hate people.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. I won't be contributing to Earth's growing overpopulation.
It's already happening with you.
What do you mean it's happening with me?
You're not.
Oh,
having
I thought you were
kids.
saying. Oh, I thought you were saying the overpopulation.
Oh, no.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
No, like the not having kids thing.
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, Children of Men. I remember they are with that girl,
Yeah.
and they're. I don't remember why were the other people trying to get the pregnant girl.
I think there's like a group of people that are trying to like stop
Kill her?
Well, they're trying to, yeah, basically they're trying to kill her, but they're trying to stop Hope, I guess.
Why?
Because it's like the Earth kind of works in like tribes now, where there's like regional tribes, and it's just fucking anarchy. So
I one thing I do remember from Children of Men is that amazing tracking shot. That's one of like the
that's
best
my
tracking
favorite
shot.
shot ever. It's like a
Really?
7-minute shot. And again, I'm going back to the production nerd that I am. It's like it's a 7-minute shot of a steady cam following Clive Owen through like the most complex triggers, like explosions, guys getting shot, firing weapons,
Yeah, because it was
no cuts.
It was what's it called? It like that's when the war started.
Yeah,
right?
it's when he's going from the ground all the way up into the building, like the top floor of the building. And God, that shot, I fucking love that shot. Sometimes
Doesn't
I'll
it
just
begin
watch
with a
that
tank?
shot.
It tank like blows up or something.
Yes, and it does that like ringing ears thing.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The one thing I do remember is of that movie is that I also remember Chiwetel Ejiofor,
who is that?
the guy in Doctor Strange, your favorite movie, Mordo.
Oh God, Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Ejiofor is definitely the right way, but his first name, I could be wrong.
I couldn't
I'm
even
sorry,
pronounce
Fran.
Feige, so I'm not even gonna weigh in on how to pronounce the name.
No, yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, so Children of Men seems really shitty. My next feature seems like I'd be into it. I'd definitely be into it. So I will do a little caveat before this. This actually caused the future rather than predicted it. So
Okay.
and I'm talking about in Star Trek, Captain Kirk's communicator.
Which Star Trek
The-
TV show?
Well, technically Star Trek the movie, but yeah, Star Trek TV show.
Okay.
But Captain Kirk, he communicates with his communicator, that's what it's called, and then that basically influenced a inventor at Motorola, Martin Cooper, the inventor of the first cell phone, to create the brick cell phone.
Hmm.
So he watched Star Trek, and that's basically what he thought of. And then another couple cool things that are now a thing. The crew, they all wore wrist communicators that resemble smartwatches. And I'm pretty sure that Apple, when the first Apple Watch was announced, I know they had a bunch of commercials with people with smartwatches in media as like an influence of how like
Yeah.
it made the Apple Watch like a thing. Like I know they had a bunch like from like Jetsons, Star Trek, a bunch of other movies, like old movies
Yeah.
that had like wrist communicators. And then they also used a pad, like a PADD, which is a personal access data device, as a tablet. And
Really?
Uhura, which is one of the main like crew members, she uses an earpiece, which is a Bluetooth headset.
Motherfucker. That
Yeah.
is. Damn, that caused so much innovation.
Seriously. Although I will say one thing, the Bluetooth guys.
Fuck those guys.
I don't even think it's cool to wear a Bluetooth headset anymore. I'm pretty sure it's like known as like you can't wear a Bluetooth headset. Like Bluetooth
Yeah.
headphones is fine, but a Bluetooth headset, no. You look like a pawn shop owner in like the like early 2000s.
Yeah. It also reminds me of like Wolf of Wall Street, like the solid color button up dress shirt with like the white wrist, the white collar. Like that's the guy that I picture that wears the Bluetooth headset. Fucking hate that guy.
Oh, and suspenders. You can't
Oh
forget
yeah.
suspenders.
Yeah, Bill
Why not?
Lumberg basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so yeah, thoughts on all the, because it's crazy. I mean, they predicted the future, but then they also caused it, which is insane.
Yeah, that is crazy. And who knows like what other inventions were sparked by random shit that was in Star Trek.
Yeah.
This is just an example of like 4 or 5 of them, and it's like we know one guy invented the cell phone based off of it, or the brick cell phone. Like who saw this and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make that little earpiece thing into something."
Yeah, no, you would never ever know, which is, I mean, I think it's one of the cooler things. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even like. I feel
Yeah.
like not a lot of movies like make innovation like this. Shit made a
Yeah.
lot of what we know, because like even if you think of like Star Wars doesn't really have anything, because Star Wars isn't really like science fiction; it's more fantasy,
Right.
and like Star Trek is definitely like science fiction.
Yeah, I'm trying to
So-
think of like one thing from Star Wars that
I mean, blasters and a lightsaber.
yeah, even that the technology is just horrible right now.
Right, because
But it's still there because of Star Wars, I guess.
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
So,
yeah. So I mean, from one thing that I know I got right and it inspired, I think your next one pretty much is in that same spot.
yeah, mine is in that same spot, but it's also in the spot where it predicts one thing correctly and then it predicts everything horribly, horribly wrong.
Okay.
So the movie is Total Recall. And
Ooh, great Colin Farrell movie.
no, I'm not talking about the remake.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know. I know you're not.
So this actually happened a little earlier. So the movie takes place in 2084. So this has already happened, and it's not even close to 2084.
Right.
So out of all the stuff they got wrong, and it's a lot, they did get one thing right, and it's the fact that there are self-driving cabs or self-driving cars in general.
Right.
And I don't know if you remember the movie, but they're called Johnny Cabs. And the animatronic cab driver is fucking terrifying.
He is like the Goosebumps guy.
Yes. He's like the
marionette.
Yes.
Yeah.
And watching that movie as a kid, because I watched that when I was very young, that was the thing that stuck with me, was that creepy fucking cab driver.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm glad that Uber and Lyft decided to omit that part. Like, I don't want like a robotic person driving.
Yeah.
Like, let the car, like Jurassic Park it.
Yeah, nothing in there. I'm not a fan of puppets. Dolls, puppets, no. Fuck that. I don't want to get in the passenger seat or the back seat of a creepy puppet doll thing.
No, you don't.
And so, like, going back to the movie, they're at one point Arnold Schwarzenegger gets in the car, and this is like before he knows that they're like animatronic, and he gets in and he's like running from somebody, and he says, "Just drive." And the android goes, "I don't understand that address." And he goes, "Shit." And the android goes, "I don't know where that is." And he just grabs the fucking android and rips it out of the floor and like throws it out the door and then drives the car away. It's hilarious.
That would definitely be something Arnold would do. And I feel like if Uber and Lyft decided to have like fake people in the car, that definitely would piss. Like, I feel like people would just fucking destroy those things.
Yeah, they would be covered in graffiti.
Graffiti 100%.
Yeah, there would be like etchings into them. Yeah, it'd be fucking crazy.
It'd be like one of those, and then there'd be like a spin-off weird like indie movie about like how those things are sentient and they've been like tortured their entire lives, and then the driverless cars, like once people get in them, they commit suicide on themselves.
Yeah, they just drive off a cliff or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, right? That's
Damn.
a movie.
That's a
fucking movie.
That is a movie. Cut all this shit out right there.
Yeah, seriously. No, but Total Recall, I thought you were going to go with like people can look like old ladies. Remember how he dresses as the old fat lady?
Yeah.
Which would have been crazy because I mean Mission Impossible basically shows that in every single one of their movies.
True. I'm thinking of like the big things that's in Total Recall. It's like implanting your brain with first of all, the tracking device. The tracking device that he pulls out of his nose haunted my dreams like the puppet thing did, because it's like the size of a baseball and he pulls it out of his nose.
Yeah. I put that on top with the worm thing that the agents put in Neo in Matrix.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
That is a terrifying scene.
Yeah. So that's up there. Marionette puppets, the worm in your belly button, and the nose tracker.
Yeah.
What, there was VR in that movie, wasn't there?
It wasn't necessarily VR. It was like implanting your brain with memories.
Okay. Yeah. So not at all either of those things. VR is implanting memories in your brain.
Might as well be.
Yeah. Totally. All right, Kevin. Well, I have a question for you today. And it's, what apocalyptic movie prediction do you think you could survive out of these three options?
Okay.
A Mad Max world, 2012, or Terminator?
Fuck, all of those suck.
Yeah, I know. One's a John Cusack movie.
Yeah, which one do I think I could survive, or which one would I want to be in?
I guess we could do both. We'll do both.
Okay, the one that I think I could survive.
Aren't those two synonymous though? Because I would think you would want to be in the one.
I would not. I don't think surviving is a win. Like, if I die,
like The Walking Dead.
If I die and up to that point I had an awesome time, you know what? So be it. If I die or if I live and the world is overtaken by killer robots, I don't want to be in that world. So
Yeah. Wait, so you'd rather die by nuclear explosion?
I would rather die. What was the first one?
Mad Max World 2012 or Terminator?
Okay, Mad Max. I would rather be in 2012.
Ugh, I don't know. Why?
Just because like I could do whatever I want. I don't have to live in Mad Max and like that sucks. It looks like it sucks.
You're basically like a sex slave.
Pretty much, yeah. And Terminator is just like worst case scenario for anybody. Like there's no way I would want to live in a world like that.
I mean, I feel like Terminator may be the least worse. Because at least
I don't think so.
The John Connor Resistance.
It's the least.
Yeah, but they have like other humans that you could interact with.
Yeah, I would say you're least likely to die in the Terminator one, but it's also the most horrifying to live out.
I mean, I think the only horrifying part of it would be that you have to go through the nuclear apocalypse.
And you're constantly being hunted by killer robots that are pretty much unkillable and have very advanced technology and weapons.
Yeah, but 2012, you're going against nature. Nature always wins.
And
like, if
it does win in The Happening, it does.
if you remember that movie, like literally fucking like cities were being like sandwiched.
That's true.
On themselves. And I don't know if I'd want to be a part of like a huge disaster like that. That's not.
Yeah.
Like I don't even want to be present for a normal earthquake. Never mind like a fucking earth-shattering.
Yeah.
Natural disaster. Because the end of that is never good. It's like you're trying to be evacuated or whatever, and then just things go south.
That is true. I don't just get to like hang out if I survive it. It's still like a struggle.
Yeah.
So I guess I would change my answer to Terminator only because it probably has the most potential for me to just kind of do whatever I wanted.
Yeah, you could be like a lone like wanderer or something.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
Yeah. If anything, I think 2012 and the Mad Max world are more correlated because after 2012, everything's destroyed. There's no government. And now you have, wait for it, the resource wars, which is basically what Mad Max is. Yeah, I have to go with you on this one as well. I do Terminator because at least I get to like still be around people, see people, maybe opposite genders as well.
Yeah. The good thing about that is if you die in Terminator, they have no sympathy, so like they'll just kill you.
Right.
That's a better way to go than like slowly dying in Mad Max or potentially falling into a giant crack in 2012.
Exactly. Tortured, possibly. It's like Mad Max world is like violent orgies.
Yes.
Like there's definitely a lot of rape in Mad Max world.
That's pretty much all it is great and murder. Yeah, it's like Gimme Shelter.
It's just a shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Wicked Hot. Let us know what movies you thought of that predicted the future, what movies that horribly didn't predict the future. And you know what? I'm going to also extend that question out to you guys as well. What post-apocalyptic movie prediction do you think you guys could survive? Let us know. You could hashtag Mad Max, hashtag 2012, or hashtag Terminator.
Yeah. And I think when the episode comes out, I'm going to post a Twitter poll.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the winner is. We'll announce it next week on the podcast.
Yeah, let's do that from now on. I like that. I like that idea. We'll do a little bit more multiple choice for the next couple episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you're listening to the episode on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. And if you want, you could throw in a review and shout us out, give us some love on iTunes. That'd be very much appreciated. It gets us on the top page and it helps us out expand because I'm sure you guys like that. Yeah, and I guess that's all. I mean, I know we still have the old episodes on YouTube as well as we're posting on YouTube also, just if you guys want to watch.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a video, but listen to it on YouTube. I don't know if you guys don't have,
you can watch it. There is a
Stitcher.
little bit of animation on there, but it's not enough to keep you occupied for the entire length of the podcast.
Okay. Well, that's cool enough. Yeah, guys, for all your Wicked Hot news and obviously for polls, Wednesday guesses, you could follow the Twitter and Instagram at Wicked Hot Talk. and then our respective Twitter and Instagram handles as well, which you could find on the main show's page. I think that's it for this week, guys. We'll see you next week. Kevin, I don't know if you have anything else.
Nope.
All right, cool. See
Bye,
you guys
everybody.
next week.
Fuck. Bye, everybody.